The date that this video is posted proves that these predictions are being made ahead of time, as do these time-stamped emails and forensic notes PDF documents. If you are skeptical for some reason, please email me and I will forward these to you. This is part 22 of this video series that is predicting that Trump's victory rally in Washington, D.C. on January 19th at the Capital One Arena will be bombed, J.D. Vance will die, and Trump will die on February 13th. I recommend watching these videos in chronological order, and I will leave the numbers for the videos either in the title or description box. Martial law will be declared in the U.S. as a result of the predicted bombings. The real name of the rap star Eminem is Marshall Mathers. The name Marshall hints at martial law. Marshall Mathers, aka Eminem, is known for his movie 8 Mile. The name 8 Mile refers to 8 Mile Road in Detroit. 8 hints at 4 plus 4 and the 44th president. Eminem introduced the 44th president at the Detroit rally for Kamala Harris on October 22, 2024. Obama, which hints at Obama, rapped some of the lyrics to Eminem's hit song, Lose Yourself, which contains the lyric, quote, ready to drop bombs, unquote. Ready to drop bombs. This was at a rally, and again, we are talking about the predicted bombing at the rally for Donald Trump. On 9/11, in 2001, the Twin Towers were bombed by planes. October 22nd, 2024, the date of the Kamala Harris rally in which Eminem introduced Obama, is exactly 9 times 11 days before it is predicted that Manhattan will be bombed on January 29th, 2025, which will result in martial law and another presidency for Obama as the Antichrist. God repeats a number 3 times for emphasis of its symbolic meaning, and in the Bible, the number 9 symbolizes God's judgment. Marshall Mathers used the subject of his relationship with his mother in many of his hit songs. His mother died on December 2nd, 2024, 9 plus 9 plus 9 days before the death of the oldest living president, Jimmy Carter. Carter is symbolism for Methuselah, the oldest living person in the Bible. The name Methuselah means when he dies, destruction. In other words, when Jimmy Carter dies, destruction of the nation. The number 9 symbolizes God's judgment, and the death of President Carter symbolized judgment, and his death was 9 plus 9 plus 9 days after the death of Marshall Mathers' mother. Marshall Mathers' mother hints at MMM, 3 M's. Marshall Mathers' mother. Methuselah, which is, of course, how the media refers to her, because no one really knows her personally, but they know her or about her through his hit songs. His mother. Marshall Mathers' mother gives us 3 M's. Methuselah, as in Methuselah, starts with the letter M, which is why Carter, who symbolizes Methuselah, died 9 plus 9 plus 9 days after the death of Marshall Mathers' mother. And again, 9 symbolizes judgment, and that's why Carter's name, Methuselah, means judgment, as I just explained. The letter M is the 13th letter in the alphabet, and therefore MMM, Marshall Mathers' mother, hints at 13 plus 13 plus 13, and God repeats a number 3 times for emphasis of its symbolic meaning. 13 plus 13 plus 13 equals 39. Carter, as in Methuselah, was the 39th president. So in other words, again, more confirmation that the death of Marshall Mathers' mother was indeed meant to connect to the death of Methuselah, the 39th president. MMM hints at 13 plus 13 plus 13 equals 39. 39 hints at 3 nines, and God repeats a number 3 times for emphasis of its symbolic meaning. And again, the connection is 9 plus 9 plus 9 days. Also, the number 13 is symbolic of the Antichrist in the Bible. Nimrod, a type for the Antichrist, was the 13th generation from Adam. Haman, another type for the Antichrist, persecuted the Jews on the 2 13th days of the month. And the 2 Antichrists are described in the book of Revelation in chapter 13. Now, 39 hints at 3 nines. Again, that's more confirmation of the connection between the 39th president's death and the death of Marshall Mathers' mother. On December 29th, 2025, the 39th president died, and this was 9 plus 9 plus 9 days after the death of Marshall Mathers' mother. Carter's death is also 31 days before the predicted bombing in Manhattan, and 31 is the 11th prime number. Therefore, 9 plus 9 plus 9 days plus the 11th prime number in between the death of Marshall Mathers' mother and the predicted bombing in Manhattan hints at the warning of judgment in Manhattan on 9/11. Again, 9 plus 9 plus 9 days followed by the 11th prime number of days hints at 9/11 in Manhattan, which will result in martial law in America. Additionally, Marshall Mathers' mother died exactly 9 plus 9 plus 9 years after the official opening of the Capital One Arena in Washington, where it is predicted that Trump's victory rally will be bombed on January 19th. January 19th hints at 9/11. 119 hints at 9/11. 119 plus 10 days to the predicted bombing in Manhattan hints at 9/11. The extra 10 days gives us another 1, which is absorbed into the symbolism of the multiple ones and the number 9. Right? The coming bombing in Manhattan is the second 9/11, and it connects with 10 days to the date 119. That's symbolism for 9/11. Also, 31, the 31st word in the Greek concordance, is the word for message, announcement. Again, Carter is symbolism for Methuselah. The oldest living president is symbolism for the oldest living person in the Bible, Methuselah, who died at the beginning of the flood judgment. His name, Methuselah, means when he dies, destruction. In other words, he is an announcement. Methuselah is an announcement of judgment. Carter's death is a message, an announcement of judgment, which is why his death is 31 days to the judgment and the predicted bombing in Manhattan. Again, the number 13 is symbolic of the Antichrist in the Bible, and the day that Marshall Mathers introduced the Antichrist at the rally, Barack Obama, it is 41 days to the date of Marshall Mathers' mother's death. 41 is the 13th prime number, and again, Marshall Mathers' mother gives us 13 plus 13 plus 13 equals 39, which is why her death connects to the death of the 39th president. 41 days is also 11.23% of a calendar year, and 1123 is the 188th prime number, and God uses this frequently to point to H188 in Strong's Concordance, which is the word that means woe, exclamation mark, used in the Bible in the context of extreme judgment from God. This explosion, this predicted bombing in Manhattan and the bombing of the Trump rally will be a massive woe on the nation that is leading to martial law. And I just want to emphasize once again the main theme or purpose of this prophecy here, which is that Marshall Mathers hints at martial law, and he introduced Obama at a rally in an arena 9 times 11 days before the predicted bombing in New York, but also prior to that is the predicted bombing in an arena at a rally, Trump's victory rally in Washington, D.C. The rally in which Marshall Mathers introduced Obama is 89 days before the predicted bombing in the rally in the arena in Washington, the Capital One Arena. Again, the rally in Detroit was in an arena. 89 days because the inverse of 89, 1 divided by 89, is 0.01123, something that I just mentioned, which is the connection to the death of Marshall Mathers' mother. Again, 1123 is the 188th prime number, and H188 is the word that means woe, exclamation mark. In other words, woe, exclamation mark, between Marshall Mathers introducing Obama at the rally to the predicted bombing at the rally in the arena that will lead to martial law. Woe. And these predicted bombings in Washington and New York parallel the events on 9/11 that attacked Washington and New York. And the only other time that a foreign enemy attacked the nation's capital was exactly 188 years prior on 9/11 in 1813, when the British landed at George Washington's Mount Vernon estate and then proceeded to burn down the White House and the Capitol building, but not before First Lady Dolly Madison famously rescued the portrait of George Washington. Anyway, that's an example of 188, and it connects to Washington, which is why I bring that up in context here, because we have this 89 days, which hints at woe. It hints at 188 and woe in between the rally in the arena in which Marshall Mathers introduced Obama to the predicted bombing in the arena at the rally that will lead to martial law.